Hi, Rabbi Shafier here, and I'm very excited to tell you about a new program that I'm starting with Hashem. It's called the Sugyah. We're going to be learning iyun, sugiyahs throughout Shas. It's a Zoom Shiur, and the way it'll work is we'll take one Sugyah and we'll spend about 2 weeks on it. The Shiur itself meets 3 times a week, so what'll happen is I'll give out more makamos. You'll get a chance with your chavrusa to learn through the mar makamos, and then 3 times a week we'll meet on the Zoom platform. You'll have a chance to discuss things, to ask back and forth, and within that 2-week period we'll cover an entire sugya. And I hope to really get a good grip. If you're looking to grow in learning, if you're looking to gain skills, if you want to get back to the type of iyun that was back in Yeshiva days, please join us. I think it'll be a very, very important and very, very meaningful experience. For more details, please see below. Thank you. Before we start, let us, I think it's appropriate we should say the tefillah together. It is a very serious issue because, just to let you in, I was speaking to some people in Israel. You know, it's not just the troops are going in Gaza. That's it's a pachad yisera to go in on the ground because it's urban warfare, house to house combat. I mean, at a certain point, Baruch Hashem, it's still now just bulldozers and jeeps, meaning tanks, etc. But at a certain point, Rahman al they're going to have to go into to the areas, and the casualties, Rahman al are just frightening. But it's even worse than that because in Eretz Yisrael itself, you have 2 million Arabs, and it's a different world. In other words, it's like you can't trust anyone anymore. I was speaking to some people in Eretz Yisrael today. They were telling me in Yerushalayim there are no workers left. In other words, the Arabs aren't commuting because some have been thrown out, some just don't come. Like it's a very, very perilous situation because you have 2 million Arabs living in the land itself. And even if you tell me many of them are good, I don't know, but all you need is 10% to radicalized, 15%, whatever the number is. It's a frightening reality. So I think it's appropriate we should say the tefillah together. On our troops and our people, on the Klal Yisrael. All right, and we should also have in mind to learn tonight. The Shem should bring the Geula very, very imminently, and no more Jewish blood should be spilled. Okay, let's get started, gentlemen. Here we go. Amamar. So this is Gemara Brachos Davdalan Amabeis Amamar Kori Kriyishma Umispalel. The order of events, the Brisa brings down that when a person comes out from the field, first he goes into the Beis Medrash, he reads Kriyishma, and he davens. That's the Brisa. Messiah Rabbi Yochanan. The Gemara says this Brisa is a support for Rabbi Yochanan. Damar Rabbi Yochanan said, Ezu ben Olam Haba, who is a person who has Olam Haba waiting for him? This is a person who's somech geula l'tfila of arvis, meaning he's somech the geula of tefillah of arvis. We'll see in a minute what that means. Rabbi Shimon Levi Omer tfilas be'emser tukun. Rabbi Shimon Levi says no, there's no such concept. Now everyone agrees by Shachris there's an issue called being somech geula l'tfila. Geula is simply said the Gal Yisrael, meaning. Remember, there are 2 separate, very, very discrete mitzvahs aseh we have when we say Shema at night. And one is v'dibarta bam, the mitzvahs essay of Krishma. That's just simply to read Shema. And it's machlokas. We're showing him the first pasuk, first parak, second parak, but everyone agrees that at maximum it's 2 prakim. Chazal added a 3rd parak for our benefit. Vayomer Hashem al Moshe Limor, Devar Yisrael, whole parsha of Tzitzis was added for our benefit because it allows us to easily fulfill a separate mitzvah aseh of remembering that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. Remember in the Seder we say Lo zachisi shtema yitzid Mitzrayim baleilos ad sheba benzon darsha. So the halacha is that we say we're obligated to remember that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim twice a day. We do it in Shachris in Shema, we do it in Mariv in Shema. So that last parsha reminds us that Hashem, or we remember that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, and on that we make the bracha of Gal Yisrael, and that's Geula. So Geula has to be close to Tefillah. There should be no interruption, and Shachris, everyone agrees that we have to be somewhat Geula Tefillah. The Gal Yisrael has to be directly connected to the Shemona Esrei. There's no interruption. Question is, at Mariv, is it the same? So Rabbi Yochanan says, Ezu ben olam haba, who's a ben olam haba, Samach Gula Tefillah Shel Arvis, a person who's Samach Gula Tefillah of Marav. Now Rabbi Shimon Levi, no, Tefillas be'emsa tiknum. All right, so let's see what this means. So Rabbi Yochanan says, Ezu ben olam haba, Samach Gula Tefillah Shel Arvis. All right, so basically, what does that mean? That means Gula Tefillah Shema Tishman Esrei. The Shema, and really, we'll see whether it's an Yesham Lakech or Magal Yisrael. Point is that there can be no interruption between the Shema and the Shemon Esrei, because the Geula has to be connected to the Tefillah. That's Rabbi Yeshua's opinion. Even Rabbi Yochanan's opinion, I'm sorry, even though it's Mariv, everyone agrees by Shachrit, but by Mariv, Rabbi Yochanan holds even still. Okay?
That, yep. Have the bracha Shema Yisrael odds, and therefore it's obviously not directly Geula to Tefillah?
You're right. We've seen that question somewhere, right? Who looked at the Mar Makamos, please?
Tosos deals with that.
Yeah, okay, Tosos, right. Let's, okay.
Depends on how you define or what the implication of B'shaf B'fab Kunefa is.
Okay, okay, all right, that's one answer to the Gemara. Okay, but all right, the Gemara asks a question. What Pesach bothered by is that how do we ever Samach Gula Tefillah? The Gemara asks that Hashkivenu interrupts. All right, but we'll see. Let's proceed for a minute. So let's assume for a minute that again, right? Are you trying to speak? If you're trying to speak, I'm just hearing noise. Okay, so
I said, was Rebbe being preemptive by being general, saying Shema and those brachas as opposed to the bracha of Gal Yisrael, specifically because we have the bracha Shema Yisrael Ad? Was Rebbe being?
I was not being preemptive because there's no way to preempt. The Gemara asks that question, meaning I don't know how you slice it. I don't know yet what this means to be Samach Gula Tefillah. Either it means simply the bracha of Gal Yisrael, or it means Ani Hashem Lakeich V'Shosei and Mitzrayim. Something there has to be Samach between there and Tefillah. And the Gemara asks, well, that's clever, but there's Hashkivenu, meaning Shema Yisrael, that whole bracha is in between and interrupts. So that's the Gemara's answer. So I don't want to preempt the Gemara because I'll lose my license. I don't even have a license. I don't want to lose it, right? So all right, good. So in any case, so Rabbi Yochanan says you can't interrupt between the Geula and the Tefillah. It has to be Shema straight to Shemon Esrei. And Rabbi Shimon Levi says no. Tefillahs be'emsa tiknuam. Now, what does this mean? Tefillahs be'emsa tiknuam. The tefillahs were in the center, Mesakein. So says Rabbi Shimon Levi, the way we set up the Shemon Esrei is Shema. We say Shema in the morning. Then we say Shemon Esrei of Shachris. Then we have Shemon Esrei of Mincha. Then we have Shemon Esrei of Marav. And then we have Shema. Meaning the Shema's bracket, and what do you call it? The bookends. They bookend the Shemona Esreis. In other words, Tefillahs be'emsa tiknuam. The Tefillahs, the Shemona Esreis be'emsa, in the middle of the two Shemas are placed. So meaning in the morning you say Shema and Shemona Esrei. Mincha you say Shemona Esrei. And Marav you say Shemona Esrei and Shema. So basically, according to Rabbi Shimon Levi, you don't Samach Gula Tefillah, quite the opposite. You say Shemona Esrei and then Shema. Not only isn't there an issue to be Samach Gula Tefillah, the order of the Tefillah is the opposite of the way we do it. In Rabbi Shimon Levi's base medrash, they would say Shemona Esrei first and then Shema second. Okay, so basically this is the machlokas. Rabbi Yochanan holds Samach Gula Tefillah, in other words, again by Marav only. Rabbi Yochanan holds you got to go Shema and no interruption between Shema and Shemona Esrei. Rabbi Shimon Levi says, Chas v'shalom, it's not a tefillahs be'emsa tiknum. That's not the way Chazal set it up. Chazal set up the tefillahs inside the Shema, and the way you do it is Shemona Esrei and Shema. I'm sorry for jumping. My slide jumped too fast. And Shema between Shema. All right, so far so bad, gentlemen? Right? Anybody bothered by obvious problem?
That's not the way we do it?
It sure is not. Well, that's for sure. Rabbi Shimon Levi, we don't pass like we pass like Rabbi Yochanan. That was Samach Gula Tefillah, even by Marav. We try our best to do it. It's not the same obligation as by Shachris, but we definitely we do Shema Esrei.
There's stuff between Shema and Shemona Esrei and Marav.
Yeah, there sure is, and that's right. That's Gemara's question. Ashkevenu Shemona Esrei. But what is it? So again, if I ask you, what's Rabbi Yochanan's opinion? What's the answer?
Samech Gula Tefillah.
Gula Tefillah. And what does Rabbi Yeshua hold?
So I make tefillah legula,
Well,
so to speak.
you mean right? You don't have to tefillah be'emtza tikkun. There's no issue of being someone gula tefillah, and rather the order is Shemona Esrei and Shema. Anybody bothered by an interesting little observation?
Well, it's our whole last Sugyah is basically not an issue according to Rabbi Ben Levi, because you can daven Marav whenever you're going to daven Marav and just say Shema later.
That is true. That is true. Anybody bothered by something from Rabbi Ben Levi? Again, according to Rabbi Ben Levi, according to Rabbi Yochanan, what do you have to do in Marav?
Shema Esrei.
According to Rabbi Yochanan, you have to be so. What do you have to do according to Rabbi Yochanan?
So not tefillah. So it shouldn't matter which order it comes in.
What are you saying, Michael? What are you saying?
It shouldn't matter which one's first.
Well, according to Rabbi Yochanan, it matters because I have to be somet geula tefillah. I say Gal Yisrael. I remember the fact that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, and then right away, connected to that, I got to say Shemona Esrei because I have to be somet geula tefillah, right? But according to Rabbi Ben Levi, there is no such issue, right?
So why did Rabbi Ben Levi hold we have Birchas Krishma?
No. All right, no one bothered by it. I'm not going to be bothered by it either. Baruch, you're not bothered by this? By something in Rabbi Ben Levi?
Not yet. Sorry.
Okay. What does Rabbi Ben Levi say again, just so I remember?
Shema Esrei.
And Tiknum.
Right?
He's not talking about geula at all.
Good. He doesn't hold the Gusoma Gula Tefillah. Good. So therefore he says the order of events is Shemona Esrei and then Shema.
So why can't he hold the other way? Because he feel up them. So okay.
Wait. What do you, Michael? You're onto something. What? Meaning again, Rabbi Yochanan holds you have to be Soma Gula Tefillah. I understand what has to be Shema and Shemona Esrei. Rabbi Shiur says, nah, there's no issue of called Soma Gula Tefillah by Marv. You're wrong. No such issue called that, right? Good.
So why do you bother saying all those brachos and stuff?
Okay, why make all the brachas and stuff? Okay, I guess, there may not be an issue to be Soma Gula Tefillah, but the brachas are still appropriate.
Shema
Why
should
is
be
he switching the
afterwards,
order
it's
at
not
all?
before.
What do you mean, Al-Natan? What?
Just do Shema before. I mean, you don't need a reason to switch it. So do Shema before. What's the problem?
And why should you do Shema before?
In Rabbi Ben Levi?
Yes, even Rabbi Ben Levi.
Why should you?
I'll tell you why. You tell me.
Birchas Torah.
No.
No, I'm just joking.
Why should you say Shema first?
Doraisa?
Doraisa, of course. Doraisa and Darabanan. Of course, Doraisa comes first. Meaning, okay, listen, Rabbi Ben Levi doesn't hold Soma Gula Tefillah. Okay, you don't got to put him close. Fine, but still, the Shema comes first. It's a Doraisa, and Shemona Esrei is Darabanan. So I don't. Meaning, okay, look, I understand there's a machlokas between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Ben Levi with this concept. You have to Soma Gula Tefillah. In other words, meaning. And by the way, you know what Soma Gula Tefillah means? Am I allowed to interrupt? In other words, for instance, I'll give you a good for instance. Am I allowed to announce Mashiva Ruach by Marav? Right? So for sure by Shachris, you're not allowed to make any announcements between Gal Yisrael, right? Shachris has Gal Yisrael and then Shemona Esrei with Soma Gula to Tefillah. Are you allowed to interrupt in Shachris to say, don't forget Mashiva Ruach or Yalav Yavu or anything like that, right? The answer is absolutely not. You can't be mafsik because you have to Soma Gula Tefillah. Now Rabbi Yochanan says not only by Shachris you have to do Soma Gula Tefillah, so too by Marav. You have to put the Gula and Tefillah close to each other, so you can't interrupt. Okay, good. Now that's Rabbi Yochanan's opinion. I got that. Rabbi Ben Levi says, nah, there's no such concept as Soma Gula Tefillah. Okay, good, Rabbi Ben Levi. But why do you reverse the order? Why does Shemona Esrei come first? It's a totally different issue. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, let's say you say, Rabbi Ben Levi holds, you don't have to be Soma Gula Tefillah by Marav, so you can make all your announcements, you could, whatever, you could talk even if you want, for all I care. You don't have to be Soma Gula Tefillah. Good. But why would you reverse the order? Still, it should be Shema, Doraisa, then Shemona Esrei, Darabanan. All right, well, let's see.
But he seems to hold there's a reason.
One second, sorry. So somebody was speaking first. I'm sorry, what?
I was about to say, because maybe he holds that you can say Mariv by Plaga Mincha, and Shema, he says you can't do until after.
Okay, I forgot everything from the last sugi already. That's the last sugi. I don't
But there is something in the Marim Comments about one holds it as Shuz and one's Chiyuv, right?
yeah, there is something about that. Yeah, I don't know what that means yet, but there is something in the Marmakomas about that. Yes. All right.
Up
So
another answer also because he wants the Shema to be closer to the sleep. So b'shachbacha of kumecha, shachbacha would be the last thing you do is Shema, and kumecha the first thing you do is Shema.
all right, look, to be honest with you, that is one answer in the Gemara that uses a drasha, which is very debatable. But the other answer is svara. According to svara, it doesn't make any sense. All right, let's proceed. Let's go on to the Gemara. We'll see. Let's circle this as an interesting observation. Meaning, granted, Yeshiva Levi holds you don't have to do some gula tefillah, but why does he reverse the order? Why does he put Shemona Esrei first? Just say you don't have to be someone. Meaning, Rabbi Yochanan says you have to be someone gula tefillah. Let Rabbi Shimon Levi say no, you don't have to be someone gula tefillah, but still, of course, you still have to say Shema first because it's a deraisa, and say Shemona Esrei after. Why does he reverse the order to put Shemona Esrei first? All right, well, let's circle that. I don't know if it's such a big kasha, yeah, but it's something to think about. All right, let's see Rashi. Rashi says Zeh Somech. So again, this is Rabbi Yochanan's opinion. You have to do somewhat gula tefillah. The kol shekain the shachris kavachomer. You have to be somewhat gula tefillah by shachris. Dika gulas mitzrayim b'shachris. The main gula from Mitzrayim was in the morning. Could exceed me macharas Pesach yatzu b'nei Yisrael. The pasuk says, on the next day after Pesach yatzu b'nei Yisrael came out. Usmichas gula tefillah. Okay, stop. So 1 second. Step number 1. Not only, of course, by Mariv, but kol shekain by Shachris. Right. Okay, so far so good. All right, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, no, I was going to ask if you could go on and explain why it's obvious in the morning that it kol shekain. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's a kol shekain because the main gul, we actually left Mitzrayim in the morning, meaning Paro came running at night after Chatzos, right? The Makas Bechoros was exactly at Chatzos. Paro comes running out, Paro in pajamas in the middle of the night, right? He comes out finding Moshe, Aaron, and he can't find him, okay? And he said, get out. So the Klai will give him permission to leave at night. But Hashem said, no, biyad Rama. They're going to go out with glory. And it wasn't until the morning that we actually went out. So there's a little bit of geula at night, meaning Paro gave us permission to leave, but Rashi points out kal vachomer in the morning because that was the actual geula. That's when we actually left Mitzrayim in the morning. So if you say that at night, if Rabbi Yochanan holds that at night you have to do some geula tefillah, kol shekain in the morning because there's much more geula there. So surely b'shachris. All right, now so far so good.
It's interesting that the Chachamim Shita is that Shema is supposed to be finished afka before Chatzos.
Meaning because
at nighttime.
All night.
Gamliel says it's only chumrah midrabanan because they're worried you're going to forget. But
right.
But if the Iker Geula happened at Chatzos, so why would Chachamim say Shema Dafka before Chatzos? It should be more like Mechila say it after Chatzos.
Yeah, let's not confuse two different issues. There's the mitzvah's essay of Kriya Shema, and then there's another thing, the third parsha that Chazal instituted to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim. Now, the mitzvah's essay deraisa is learned down b'shach b'chav kumecha, and that has to do only with again, I don't know if it's the first pasuk, first parak, or the first two parakim, but something in Shema that has to be said. That has no connection whatsoever to Vayomer Shema Dabar Yisrael.
The parsha of Mitzrayim could be said after Chatzos, so you know, according to Chachamim?
Well, meaning what they were discussing was there is a mitzvah say called Kriya Shema v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha v'sechel. That mitzvah say Kriya Shema. When is the final time to say it? When the earliest time to say it? When is it said? That has really nothing to do with another issue. There's another mitzvah that Chazal conveniently put together for us, that third parsha. But again, that's a different issue. All right, but let's
Rebbe, why didn't Rashi answer in the last Rashi before that the reason why we say Shema then is to be so much gulis? I mean, he said, why do we daven, if we daven early, why do we say Shema if you're not Yotze Beraisa? He says, because it's the very Torah. So why don't you just say that it's to be so much gula l'tfila?
Good.
I thought it's because he held that you might not have to be somewhat gula tefillah by Ma'ariv.
No, for a different reason. You can't be somewhat gula tefillah early. In other words, if it's not the Zman Geula, you can't do it. It's too early. Meaning,
I saw somebody said because it's a rishus, he held that you might not have to.
No, a totally different issue. Can you, by mincha, can you be somewhat gula tefillah by mincha?
We're not.
Only if you're an option of. If you're an option of, then you can.
Right, maybe, but
No, what do you mean? Back then, I thought back then they said Shema before mincha also.
That was a different reason. That was for Torah to tefillah. But the point is,
fine. So there you go, gula tefillah.
No, the answer is you cannot. Why? Because not the Zman Gula. You can only summon Gula Tefillah and a Zman Gula. There's a time when you remember the Gula by Shachris or by Ma'ariv, then you can be Somachit close to the Shemona Esrei. But if it's not a Zman Gula, you can't be Somachit. There's nothing to.
So you're saying that it's so early that he didn't need to be so much Gula Tefillah because you're davening before time.
And you couldn't do it, meaning that is you could not do it because there's no Gula then. All right, good. Let's proceed. All right. V'smichas gula tefillah ramza David b'sefer Tehillim, and this obligation to be somewhat gula tefillah, David Melech was romez to us. He hinted to us b'sefer Tehillim d'ksiv Hashem Suriv Goali. The pasuk says, Hashem, you are my Goal, you're my redeemer, you're my rock and my redeemer. That's in Tehillim. V'samach lein. Next parak, next pasuk says, Yancha Hashem b'yom tzara. Hashem should answer us in the day of our tzara. Today is a day of tzara. We should ask Hashem to answer us. Okay, all right. So we see here gula tefillah. So therefore, that's where we learn out gula. David Melech was merames it to us there. All right. So far, so bad. All right,
but that doesn't seem to be connected to Rashi's first point, though, no?
Thank you, Benjamin Pesach. But what, Baruch, I'm sorry, what?
Is there like a svara like that the Geula is contributing or leading into the tefillah in some way, and this is just a hint, or is it just a Gzeres HaKassav? What is this?
I have no idea what Rashi is doing here, to be honest. I have not a clue in the world. Rashi seems to be quoting David Melech as the source to be some Gula tefillah. Now, to be honest with you, it's the worst source in the world because you can't learn from a Navi a chiyuv, an obligation. So what's he's David Melech is merames. I don't know how it's merames. It's two psukim, two prakim, and Yan Hashem b'yom tzara is not even a tefillah. So to be honest with you, I don't have a clue what Rashi is doing here. And like Benjamin Pesach pointed out, what's the connection between why Rashi begins by saying that, of course, by Shachris? Well, who cares? But where'd that come from? And what's the connection to that? And Tzmichas Gula Tefillah from David Melech. I don't know how to read this Rashi at all, but I don't want to mention that because I don't know any answers to this. It's a stama. We'll have to see. Maybe Hashem will help be Megala or.
Do we have any understanding what the purpose of being Somach Gula Tefillah is? Like, what are we gaining from it?
Yeah. Oh, we're going to see in a minute. Rashi's going to explain to us. Let's go a little further than Rashi. Okay. But Mina B'brachos, Yerushalmi, the bracha Gemara and Brachos Yerushalmi explains to us, and this is the logic why you should be Somach Gula Tefillah. This part, next coming part of Rashi, I understand at least. Let's see. Mishaino Somach Gula Tefillah, one who's not Somach Gula Tefillah, Lamaha Dome, to what is he compared? Li'ovo Shel Melech, to a person who's beloved to the king. Sheba v'dafak al pischo shel Melech, this good friend, great friend of the king, comes and bangs on the door of the king. Yotza Melech, the king comes out. Motza shiflig, and sees his friend left. Afu hiflig, so too the king leaves. Right? The guy bangs on the door, the king comes out, and by the time he comes out, he sees his friend's gone. So he says, friend's gone, so the king goes back into his palace. Fine. Ella, rather, so don't do that. Ella, yeah, adam makriv l'kadosh baruch hu elav. Hashem should bring Hashem, a person should bring Hashem close to him. Umartzeu, and be meratzim, b'shvachos, v'kulmasim shal yisiyas Mitzrayim, and praise Hashem with praises of the fact that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. V'miskarav elav, and by doing that, he becomes close. V'miskarav elav, he becomes, I don't know who those close is over here. I once knew. But Oda Karve love, and through that you make Hashem closer to you, And when Hashem is close, you ask your tzarchim, you ask your needs. So basically, and this Yerushalmi is explaining us the concept of Somach Gula Tefillah. Why should you be Somach Gula Tefillah? And because when you Maratza Hashem, it's like you come to the door, you knock on the door, the king comes out, and the king comes out, don't leave, make your requests. Right? So too over here. You bring Hashem close by saying Shvachos and Tishbachos. You mentioned Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, and Hashem comes close to you. At that point, when Hashem is close to you, ask you, don't interrupt, don't do something else. Ask Hashem what you need, because the king is there. So don't interrupt. That's the concept of Somach Gula Tefillah.
Could it be that's what David HaMelech is doing in Tehillim, and that's why Rashi is using that?
I don't have a clue why, but one second. Let's see if we got this straight first.
How do you understand the first 4 lines? Why didn't he just start from Adam?
Why do you start from Adam, meaning what?
What did it have to do with knocking on a door and the king wasn't there? You know why you do Somach Gula Tefillah? Just like the Hasidim went an hour early to get close to Hashem. This is the method. All you have to do is Adam Mekar L'Kodesh Baruch Hu by flattering him, whatever you want to learn that, and then you get close to him because you realize his goodness. Done. What's knocking on the door?
Meaning you brought Hashem close. Ask your requests. Meaning,
but that's the second half. That he's missing the point. The point of Geula is so that you get close to Hashem before you ask your request. So you're close to Him when you ask your request. What does that have to do with knocking on the door and then disappearing? That's the opposite end. Knocking on the door is which part? Knocking on the door is this.
Knocking on the door is shvachos, being you praise Hashem. So Hashem comes out to greet you because you bring Hashem close. So right then, don't walk away.
Which is the what part? Meaning,
which is the
knocking
part of,
on the door is the Yetzias Mitzrayim, right?
Knocking on the door is shvachos tishbachos, meaning praise Hashem. So Hashem comes out. Hashem comes closer to me. Now Hashem is here. What should I do? I should make my request. Don't leave. Don't interrupt by doing something else. Because then Hashem.
But he's saying if you weren't Somach Gula Tefillah, then you wouldn't have the Geula part, not the Tefillah part. Meaning the walking away. One thing again.
Here's what you do. The Maratz Hashem, praise Hashem. That's like knocking on the door. So Hashem comes out to greet you. And now you have 2 choices over here. What you should do if you're smart is right then ask your request. Hashem, I need this, I need this, I need this. If you're not smart, you interrupt. And when you interrupt, what happens is the king goes back inside, and now you're left alone. Your requests are nowhere near as potent because the king's no longer here.
So that's not saying, that's not saying why Geula is next to, meaning that's saying why it's next to it as opposed to why you need Geula at all. Meaning, why don't you just start with Shmona Esrei? I thought is it what he's bothered by. Like, what do you need this so many?
This concept of Rabbi Yochanan taught us you're obligated to Somach Gula Tefillah. Where does it come from? I'll tell you where it comes from. It's a svara the Gemara in Shalom explains. When you knock on the king's door, the king comes out to greet you, make your request. You don't walk away at that point. So too, you sing the shiurs and shvachos of Hashem. Hashem, you took us out of Mitzrayim, Gal Yisrael. So Hashem comes closer to you because when you sing those shiurs and tishbachos, at that point, don't leave, because if you leave, Hashem will leave, and you make a request. It'll be much harder for your request to be granted. And right away, as soon as Hashem comes out to greet you, right then make a request. Somach Gula Tefillah. Say your tefillah immediately after Gal Yisrael.
Okay, so Behu Miskari V'Lav is not really you coming closer to Hashem.
That's Hashem comes closer to you. All right. Now, we're going to spend some time later trying to understand exactly what this Gemara in Yerushalmi says, because I believe it's a deep, deep svara and allows us to understand a phenomenal concept of Hashem's love for the Jewish nation, Hashem's love for people, and how the extraordinary humility of God, it's beyond description. By the way, even just a simple understanding. Do you understand what's going on over here? I bring Hashem to me. What are you, crazy? Listen, Sugyah. Hashem, the creator of the heavens and earth, Mamash Kadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem comes out to me. What are you, this Sugyah?
Why do you have to read it that way? Why can't it be I bring myself close to Hashem?
Maybe you can read it any way you want, but that's what it's saying. Yeah, I have to read it because it's saying that's what the mushal is. And when the king came out, he saw his friend was gone.
Yeah, Yotza Melech sounds like the king is coming closer.
Exactly. So
so Geula means I'm bringing you closer to me.
I'm bringing
and
God.
Then Tefillah.
I'm bringing God out to greet me. Right.
To
so
me.
I'm saying, To me, yes, to me. This is a tremendous, tremendous illustration of the humility, the love, the Hashem. Could you imagine what it means? I bring God out to me. Like, you ever hear something so crazy? You understand the Melech Malchi Amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes out to me like it sounds almost absurd. If you think that, it sounds beyond even words. All right, but listen, that's the tremendous love that Hashem has for us, and the tremendous ability of a Jew to impact the way Hashem acts in the world. And if it could be, Hashem comes closer to me, not that I come closer to him, Hashem comes closer to me. So the Gemara said, don't be an idiot. At that point, ask. And Hashem came out to greet you. Don't leave. Ask right away. So again, just understanding it at its simplest level, it's a powerful, powerful tziyur. The potency, I want you to know something. I daven Marav differently after I started the Sugyah. Because I said to myself, how can I see these brachas will come on? Oh my goodness. I'm Meratz Hashem. I sing praise to Hashem, and Hashem comes out to greet me. This is like this powerful stuff. If we understood the power of our words, the power that tefillah has, we would faint. All right, whatever. Anyway, but let's again. So that's a simple understanding. What Rashi's bringing this Yerushalmi to do is to explain, where does this concept come from? Some gula tefillah. Like Baruch was asking, what is this concept? The answer is, it's a very simple concept. And when I sing praises to Hashem, I bring Hashem out to greet me. Hashem comes out to greet me. Hashem comes out to greet me. Right away, ask. Make your request. Don't interrupt. Don't stop. If you stop, then Hashem goes back to the palace. Don't do that. That's foolish. Why? Because someone gula tefillah, right away make your requests. All right. So far, so bad. And the more I speak this out, the more confused I get. But that's, you guys have a good.
I thought the basic understanding of tefillah we have is to prepare ourselves for tefillah. Meaning we start off with Psukkah de Zimra, and then we go into Birchas Krishma, and then we say Hashem Slasai Tiftach in order to please open my mouth. And we start off with the first 3 brachas and the last 3 brachas, and then we finally have Bakasha, the middle 13 brachas in the middle. All this was for us to prepare ourselves. It's a tremendous chiddush Rabbi saying to me
Right, there are 3 systems of tefillah, and one of the systems of tefillah.
3 systems, okay.
Right, and actually that tefillah actually works. Forget, and one, it changes me, but 2, my requests are granted. Meaning a big part of tefillah, you're right, is for me to understand who I'm davening to, and for me to get it, and for me to praise Hashem, etc. Okay, but a big part of tefillah is also the fact that my requests are granted. So Chazal are giving us a tip. If you want your request,
the method I was talking about,
almost like that. But the point is, Chazal are teaching us a technique to make sure your tefillahs are more likely to be answered. How do you make sure your tefillahs are more likely answered? You give stalker before, you akimidos properly. Good. So Chazal give us another tip. How do you make sure your tefillahs are answered? Bring the king out to you with shvachos of praise of Yeshiva Mitzrayim, and by doing that, then Hashem is close to you. Once Hashem is close to you, make your request. Therefore,
so according to Rabbi Yochanan, how does mincha work?
Well, you don't have gula tefillah. You don't have.
You don't have shachris and marav. You have gula tefillah, but mincha you just have ashrei.
That's correct. You don't have that extra power. That's right.
So it's just a stama tefillah?
I don't know what stam means. You don't have the extra firepower in it. Yes, you don't have that extra thing. By Shachris you have it. According to Rabbi Yochanan, by Marav you have it. According to Rabbi Levi, you don't have it by Marav either. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, you have it by Marav. All right, let's go on a little further and proceed. Okay, now next Rashi said B'emtza Tiknum. That was Rabbi Yochanan's opinion, right? That you have to be someone gula tefillah. Says Rabbi Shua Levi, no, not true at all. The tefillahs are be'emtza teknum, ben shnei kriyishmas. You have the kriyishma in the beginning, kriyishma in the after, and between the 2 kriyishma, tiknu kol tefillah shel yom. The gasava tefillahs arvis kodemas the kriyishma, because Rabbi Shua Levi holds the amariv, the tefillah of mariv comes first before kriyishma. And what's our question on that, gentlemen?
Why?
I mean, it makes no sense, right? It says Rabbi Shua Levi, Shema are bookends, and in the middle come the 3 Shemona Esreis. That means, according to Rabbi Shua ben Levi, you stop in Shemona Esrei first and Shema after. Okay, gee golly, why? You don't have to be someone gula tefillah, I understand, but why would you reverse the order? All right, let's see. Okay, let's proceed now. So now we're up to the Gemara. Okay, good. All right, so far so good. But my kemiflagi frek the Gemara kasha what is the machlokas between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Shimon Levi? What are they arguing about? What's the machlokas? Ibai say makra, Ibai say masvara. If you like, we could say they're arguing a pasuk. Ibai say masvara, or they could be arguing a svara. Let's do the svara first because we're midas a golem, and we answered the second first. Ibai say masvara. If you want to know svara, and Rabbi Yochanan sava geula mi urta nami havi. Rabbi Yochanan held the geula was also at night. El geula mal yisel havi el tzafra. But the real geula wasn't until the morning. Meaning, why does Rabbi Yochanan say at night you have to do some geula tefillah? Because there was a geula me'urta. At night there was a geula. It was also. It happens to be the geula mal yisa. The real geula was in the morning, but still it was a geula at night. Rabbi Shimon Levi savar came in lavi el mitzafra. Rabbi Shimon Levi says since the geula was only in the morning, we only left Mitzrayim in the morning. Lavi geula milisa. Therefore, it's not a real geula. So there's nothing. It's like mincha. There's no geula that you could celebrate. In other words, if there was a real geula, I could be makalis Hashem, praise Hashem about the geula at night. But there was no geula, so I can't do. I can't do it. So if I can't do it, so obviously you don't do it.
The machlokas and mitzias.
Thank you very much, Baruch. Meaning, say even more. What are you saying?
What is it? One says there was a geula night. One says there wasn't. Like, don't we have the story?
You're asking good, but you could ask even better than that. You're asking good, but you ask it even sharper. Meaning, all right,
why do you have to say Shema afterwards?
What Baruch is asking is like this. Everyone agrees that Paro came and to get out of here. Everyone agrees that they didn't get out of there till the morning. There's no machlokas about the Metzias. Paro came. The pasuk tells us Paro came. Paro said, "Get out, get out." They were megarish. They were trying to kick them out. And we also know that they actually didn't leave until the morning. So what are they arguing about? Rabbi Yochanan says there was a gula at night, and Rabbi Shimon Levi said, "No, there was no gula at night." What are you talking about? Everyone agrees physically they didn't leave until the morning, and everyone agrees they were given permission to leave at night. So what's the machlokas?
One's more important than the other.
I don't know what that means even. Rabbi Yochanan says there was a gula at night, and Rabbi Shimon Levi says it wasn't. What do you mean? Everyone agrees. Paro said, "Get out of here at night." They were given permission to leave. There's no machlokas about that, and everyone agrees that they didn't leave at night. They left in the morning. So Rabbi Yochanan says, "Oh, there was a gula at night," and Rabbi Shimon Levi says, "No, there was no gula at night." What? What are you talking?
What's bothering you? Meaning,
yeah. Oh, that's it. That's the answer.
Could it be? I mean, it's a shmuz. I'm just kidding. But no, what I'm saying though, well, I guess is when does the gula officially start? I mean, Paro told them many times to get out, and then he ended up changing his mind. So maybe one of them holds that the Maisa that ended up being retroactively the final starting point of the gula, and the other one says no, it happens in the morning. I'm saying they're obviously arguing about when is the official starting point of the gula.
But I don't understand.
Why is that such a big crazy machlokas?
Because there is no machlokas. What are they arguing about?
They're not arguing about the timeline. They're arguing about at which point are we using this tefillah remembering of Zecher Yetzias Mitzrayim? Is it from when Paro came out in his pajamas, or is it from when we left Mitzrayim? So what are they
arguing about? Okay. I hold this, you hold that. What do you tell me the point of the machlokas?
The point of the machlokas is at what point are we which point are we trying to tap into that history that happened to Klal Yisrael? Is it that point where Paro came out in pajamas, and that's really the point where we were free, or I guess we felt, or whatever it is that would bring Hashem closer to us, or are we supposed to focus on the later part? But that's the idea of what they're arguing about. What's the focus? What's the focus of Yetzias Mitzrayim?
I'm on Baruch's side. I don't hear that as an argument.
Does the geula start from when they actually leave, which would be the morning, or does the geula start from the point that Paro says, "I'm mafkir you"?
Not when it starts, but what are we recognizing as?
Right. Okay, I agree. We all agree that on the events that happened, but when do we start considering it a geula? Do we start considering it a geula when it happens, when it's in the practical, as it were, or when it's in the potential when Paro told them to leave the night before?
But I would think if that's true, then Rabbi Shua ben Levi should go like the Chachamim. I mean, the Chachamim, the arguer Belazar ben Azariah, who say we don't have to read Zecheres Mitzrayim at night at all. According to Rabbi Shua ben Levi, if there's no Geula at night, so don't only have Yetzias Mitzrayim, don't have Yetzias Mitzrayim Baleilos at all. He goes like the Chachamim over there that argue Belazar ben Azariah and Ben Zoma. He holds there should be nothing at night. What's the point of having the Shema after all the Shemona Esrei? If there's no Geula, then there should be no Shema.
No, you mean Shema Kechem? You know, Tzeitzichem is.
I mean, the last paragraph.
So I don't know if you can ask a question on the Bible, because the Bible obligates us in that mitzvah.
According to Chachamim, they don't obligate us at night. We're not obligated at night.
But I understand, but that we paskin and both of these rabbis agree. We paskin.
Shua ben Levi's an Amora.
Everyone in this discussion of Yochanan and Shua ben Levi agree that there is a mitzvah's essay to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim at night, unless you find me somebody who says otherwise.
Well, obviously they do, because he wouldn't say you have to say Shema, the Shema afterwards, otherwise.
But that's not, again, Shema and Vayomer are two different issues.
He seems to be connected to the Gal Yisrael part, not the Shema part. Because there's no machlokas.
Don't shoot yourself in the head. But okay, good. Let's go straight. Again, I don't assume there's any such machlokas. Meaning, I assume both Rabbi Shua ben Levi and Rabbi Yochanan agree that the mitzvah's essay to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim at night as well as the morning. And the machlokas here is there a geula that's sufficient to celebrate, to make a proclamation? Now, by the way, I'm rightly curious. I'd like to ask you a question, and I don't know the answer to this question. In Rabbi Shua ben Levi's Marev, did he say the bracha Gal Yisrael?
I think he has to, because you have to say two, no?
The Gemara says you should name lefanesh, name lachareha. So I assume he said Gal Yisrael because we say it's an earlier statement that the Chazal Masakin, two brachas before Shema, two brachas after. So how did Rabbi Shua ben Levi say Gal Yisrael? There was no gula at night. I don't know the answer to this, but I don't want to confuse the issue. I believe that this is a reasonable question as to what is the machlokas between Rabbi Shua ben Levi, because these words don't mean. If you guys hear as far as guns fine, I don't hear it. I don't hear what they're arguing. I hold the gula was at night. You hold it was in the morning. You hold what are they arguing? If someone could explain to me the argument, in a way that I understand, I would appreciate it. But so far, I don't hear what their machlokas is. Something not machlokas, a Tanoim over here, whatever.
Just the words here in front of us. It's Rabbi Yochanan Savar Gula Me'or Tanami Havi. At nighttime, there was also gula, right?
Yes.
Ela Geulta Ma'aliyasa Lo Havi El Ad Safra. There was not a Gula Ma'aliyasa except during the day.
Right.
And then Rabbi Shua ben Levi says, the Lo Havi Ela Mid Safra, Lo Havi Gula Ma'aliyasa when?
The Lo Havi Ela Mid Safra. It was only in the morning, therefore Lo Havi Gula Ma'aliyasa at night.
But Rabbi Yochanan also says it's not Gula Ma'aliyasa Ela Mid Safra.
Oh, yeah, here. That's a good question. I agree with you. What can I tell you? These guys say they understand it. I don't understand it. There's Elnatan and Shaul is saying they understand the machlokas. I don't understand what the machlokas is. Again, let's review. Everyone agrees to Metzias. Power gave him permission to leave at night, and everyone agrees to Metzias. They left in the morning. And says Rabbi Yochanan, there was a gula at night. Says Rabbi Shua ben Levi, no, there was no gula at night. Well, what are you arguing about? I said it was. You said it wasn't. Like what? It was enough. Like a shiur. I don't know what they're arguing. And so far, I don't hear anything intelligent.
Why can't you say everyone agrees at night it was something? Everyone agrees in the morning was more. The question is, do you get the special idea that you so mechula tefillah legabe the night? Because the night wasn't really the main thing because it didn't happen then, but it started then. They were ready to leave at that point. What's the problem?
Is it just decided?
In a way that I, as an intelligent person, would understand. To study he holds this, he holds that.
Is it enough? Is it enough? If everyone agrees that it's not so much of a gula. Everyone agrees the morning is much more gula. Question is the night have that special idea of something gula tefillah, or is it forget it? It's just not good enough.
All right, I'll tell you what. If at the end of the sugyah I don't come up with better than that, we'll accept that answer. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think maybe along those lines we could say maybe if there isn't an inyan gula tefillah at night, so then it's best to do the gula, the shema, closer towards the morning. We know you have to do the schir at night and the morning. So the question is, do I say shema before Shemon Esrei at nighttime, or do I say shema after Shemon Esrei? If I say shema before Shemon Esrei, it's because there's an inyan gula at nighttime, and I should do gula close to Shemon Esrei. If not, it's better to do the Shema later in the night, as late as possible, so that it's closer towards the morning when the real gula happens.
No.
The nighttime Shema and the daytime Shema will also be closer towards the morning.
Don't confuse two different things. The Shema that you're saying at night is not the brach of Gal Yisrael. It's not the right. It's not the
Gal Yisrael, whatever you want to call it, the Parsha of Mitzrayim, the Gal Yisrael, whatever part of that is the important part, should be closer towards the morning, because the nighttime's nothing special.
But in the morning's not. It's not the morning. You can't do that in the morning.
It's closer towards the morning because it's after Shemon Esrei.
Now, what can I tell you? It can be in the morning because you won't meet the nighttime requirement. But it's closer to the mornings. What kind of svar is that? If you hear it, I don't hear it. I'm sorry.
Closer to when Paros got up and made his decree, right?
Advice. I don't know. Okay, let's proceed. All right, so far so bad. All right, so I believe this is a question. You guys don't hear it as a question. It's fine. I also would love to know this Rashi. What Rashi bothers bringing in this Kol Shekei, the Shachris part, what he's doing David Melech part, I don't know. The second part of Rashi I do understand, I believe, Gemara Yerushalmi, and with this I believe we also understand the Gemara's, to some extent what the Gemara's Surah is. Okay, good. So far so good. All right, good. So far so good. I think so. All right. Let's proceed. Gulam Ulta Havia. All right. Guliam Urta Lahavi. So again, Rabbi Shimon Levi says, Gula at night there wasn't. Hilka Gula de Urta Lachashir Ladura Lasmechasvila. Therefore, the Gula at night isn't chashav enough to put a smichas tefillah to it. What did Rashi add? I don't know, but and if the Gula at night isn't chashav enough to add the smichas tefillah. Okay, I don't know what Rashi added, but let's go on. Okay, Vibai say makra. If you want, I could tell you the machlokas between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Shimon Levi is a machlokas in psukim. Ushnei mikra echad darshan. Both of them darshan from the same pasuk. Diksiv, the pasuk says b'shach b'chav kamecha. When you lie down and when you get up. Rabbi Yochanan savar makesh kiva lakima. Rabbi Yochanan holds there's a hekesh between this lying down and the getting up. Makima, just like when you get up, Kriya Shema v'achach tefillah. First it's Shema, and after it's tefillah. Av shkiva nami. So too when you lie down, Kriya Shema v'achach tefillah. That's Shema first and tefillah second. That's Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Shimon Levi savar no. Makesh kiva lakima. You're right. There's a hekesh between the shkiva and the kima. Makima, just like when you get up in the morning, Kriya Shema samach umitaso. Shema is closer to the bedtime. Av shkiva nami. So too when you go to sleep, Kriya Shema samach umitaso. All right, let's just do that in the chart so we see it clearly. Okay, here we have the Berchos Kriya Shema. Mari Varavim, Avasolam, Shema, Emes V'Muna. This is the bracha that ends in Gal Yisrael. Hashvenu and Shemona Esrei. Okay, now, where am I? What is this? 1 second. Yeah, 1 second. My slides are wacky. Wait a minute.
Why do we need Shema at all if you have Viativ?
If you have what?
Emes Viativ.
Why do you need Shema at all? You have to say Shema.
Third parsha?
You mean the third parsha Shema?
Yeah, I'm saying the Yetzias Mitzrayim.
Why do you say Mitzrayim? You have Emunah. So the truth is, in that bracha, there are things close. In Shachas, it's closer. Mitzrayim Galtanu Hashem Elokeinu. There, you have more of a kasha. Mitzrayim Galtanu Hashem Elokeinu V'Tzavanim Pidischanim Kol B'Charei Marakti Kol Galta. There, you could argue that, and I try to have kavanah then of Yetzias Mitzrayim also, because there you could argue that you're remembering the Gula. By Marv, it's not as clear.
Do we say Makah Mitzrayim in there also?
We do, but you don't say the Yitzia. The Gula has to be I mean, we have Mika Mocha Bein Hashem Zekili on Hashem Yimoch Lamev and Emar, but you don't have as clearly the Yitzia. By Shachris, you have a little bit more of a question. You mean, why did Chazal make the bracha? Why did Shemalkech and the brachas Shema? By Shachris would have done it as well. The brachas of Shema. So the answer, you know what the answer? I don't know what the answer is, but
you need to remember. You need to remember it the way the Torah says to remember it. Saying the psukim for the Torah.
No, is that true? I don't think that's true.
Not true. The mitzvah daraisa is just to remember it.
Remember, right? No, but
so then why did they bother making a third parsha of Shema in the first place? Just say Shiur.
That's what El Notan's asking. So I don't know if I know the answer, but I mean, one thing for sure, it's safer this way because you say Shema after Tzeis Kochavim, meaning the Shagas Ari is alone in this holding, but he does hold that Ani Hashem Elkeichem you have to say also after Tzeis Kochavim. And you won't be Yotzei early. Mishmur seems to paskin not like that. Mishmur seems to paskin you really Yotzei, even though Shema you can't be Yotzei before Tzeis Kochavim, but Zechias Yitzias Mitzrayim you can be. But the Shagas Ari holds that no, you can only be Yotzei Zechias Yitzias Mitzrayim after Tzeis Kochavim. So it's safer to have it in Shema. I'm really saying a klutz answer, but meaning because Shema you're going to say after Tzeis Kochavim. But Elton's question is better than my answer because I agree. It's I'm not sure I know the answer. It's a good
What about
point.
according to Shirashi?
No, again, Elton's question is in Shachris. Why did Chazal have to put in Shema the third parsha to remember Shema Tzkechem when they put it anyway in the brachas of Shema afterwards? I mean, there you clearly remember the Exodus. You don't need Hashem Elkeichem. I'm not sure. It could be that's why the bracha was. And once they put it in Shema, maybe that's when they made the bracha on it. That's probably the answer, right? Probably the answer is Chazal put it into Shema, and then Chazal wrote the brachas on Shema after. So you can't ask that it's redundant because it's
expounding.
It's what?
Expounding,
right? Yeah, it's the same theme and expound and repeat. Yeah, right. Okay.
It links the third parsha Shema to Gal Yisrael because the third parsha Shema doesn't really have Gal Yisrael specifically. It remembers Zechias Mitzrayim, but it doesn't really have Gal Yisrael. So we need the third parsha to link Mitzrayim to Gal Yisrael, right?
I'm not sure. I don't know yet what Gal Yisrael means, other than Ani Hashem Elkeichem Sicha Me'eretz Mitzrayim. And that is redemption. That is redeeming. I don't know what Gal Geula means more than that. Gal Yisrael is thanking God for that which you did. You took us out of Mitzrayim. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what Gal Yisrael is more than...
It's not that it's considered like one brach. We don't consider it a bein haprokim even between Shema and this parsha of Gal Yisrael. That's not one of the emsa haprokim. It's considered one long hemshech, right?
It's a second. It's the bracha of. I'm not sure what I mean.
Between Shema and emes v'yatziv or emes v'emuna is all considered one like kilu one long bracha. There's no bein haprokim in between the two of them.
That's another issue. It is a separate bracha, meaning after Shema you have two brachas.
But that first bracha is really directly connected to Shema. There's no bein haprokim between them.
That's another. You are correct, but that's what does that have to do with the fact that it's a separate bracha? It is a separate bracha from Shema. You stop Shema, done. Now you start the bracha of Shema. Now they ask Akasha, why don't you have a bracha in the beginning of Emes Emunah? It's not Samach L'Bercha. So that's a good question, but the point is, it is that's the third bracha. Let's proceed. I think we're going to get iskahakt and get confused. Okay. Anyway, Makish Kiva Lakima. This is the psukim. So there's a machlok between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Shimon Levi. What the hekesh, it says b'shach b'cha kamecha, they're close together. And what do we learn from this hekesh? So, according to Rabbi Yochanan, who says you have to be some agula tefillah, and this is what you learn. Makima, just like when you get up Kriya Shema v'achak tefillah, first you say Shema and then you daven. Av shkiva nami, so too going to sleep. It also Kriya Shema v'achak tefillah. Yes, Shema and afterwards tefillah, right? Just like the kima getting up is Shema and after tefillah, so to the shkiva is also Kriya Shema v'achak tefillah. Says Rabbi Shimon Levi, no. I agree with you. You make the hekish, but I learned something differently. I say makima. When you get up in the morning, Kriya Shema Samach L'mitaso, Kriya Shema is close to you when you're getting out of bed, right? Because you get out of bed and you say Shema, and then you say Shema Esrei. Ashkiva Nami Kriya Shema Samach L'mitaso. Kriya Shema is also Samach L'mitaso. Good. Anyone troubled by some interesting observation about this drasha? I'll be funny for a minute. Is this drasha? Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was wondering why we're assuming that you're going to go from Shachris to Marav. Why not start from Marav to Shachris? Like Shach B'chav Kumecha, it's even first in the pasuk. So you want to make a connection and say just like this, also this, to say just like Marav, do Shachris too, the same way you do Marav.
I assume the answer is because we know for sure that there is a smicha between Shema and Shema Sama Gula Tefillah by Shachris. Like Rashi pointed out, everyone agrees. There's no machlokas. Everyone agrees by Shachris there has to be a smicha of Gula Tefillah. Everyone agrees. So that's set. Now, once that's set, now the question is Marav. You know, we compare Marav to that. But the only thing that's set is Shachris. So you can't do it the other way because Marav we don't know. Marav, I don't know, is it Samach Gula Tefillah or not? I don't know. So I can't learn from there to Shachris, but I can learn from Shachris. So I know Shachris is Samach Gula Tefillah. Now the question is, since that's Samach Gula Tefillah, can I go from there to Marav? Okay, that's, you know, what exactly drush should you make?
According to Shub and Levi, should you say Shema in reverse too?
According to Shub and Levi, should say Shema in reverse, meaning what?
Should I say the third parak first, and then the second parak, and then the first? Because I'm doing everything in reverse. Because so.
Right, I hear. That's cute. Anyone else bothered by something very, very problematic with this? Very, very problematic. I'll let you know a clue. Is this a drasha?
Sounds like an asmachta.
Yeah. Who said yes? Who said it was? Yeah. Explain to me how it's a drasha.
Because it's not halacha. It's telling you a story. This is the way it is. So this is the answer.
Yeah. No, but what I mean is, can this be a real drasha?
Can this be a real drasha?
All right, I'll be funny for a minute. Are you chayim midaraisa to be soma gula tefillah?
No.
So how can it be a real? It has to be at most in a smachta. It can't be a drasha. There's no obligation deraisa. How can you do? You have to do it soma gula tefillah. Midaraisa, you don't have to do anything like that. The obligation to be soma gula tefillah is rabbinic. It's a nice idea, a nice concept, but there's no obligation deraisa. So it cannot be a real drasha. It's most an asmachta. It's an important point to realize over here that this is not a real. It's not a drasha. It's an asmachta. An asmachta means it's like a remez. It's like a something, you know, some kind of, because there's no real obligation in the Torah. If there was an obligation in the Torah, you learn now from here, but there is no obligation.
So the truth is, it really should be like Reb Shua ben Levi, if in a vacuum. Because if the Torah says B'shach b'chav u'kumecha, so b'shachba should be as soon as you get up. I'm sorry, u'kumecha. U'kumecha should be as soon as you get up. B'shachba should be right before you go to sleep. So really, it should be like Reb Shua ben Levi. You should have Shema as soon as you get up, you say Shema, and right before you go to sleep, you say Shema. That's b'shach b'chav u'kumecha. So Rabbi Yochanan is inserting. The reason we don't do it that way is to follow the format of the morning. And Shmuel Levi says, no, we do as close as possible to B'Shach B'Chav Kumecha.
I'm not zocha, but we're going to move on because I want to finish this Gemara at least. I'm sorry. All right, so far so good, gentlemen. We good so far? Okay, let's go on. So I apologize. I just want to move because I've got to finish this Gemara. I didn't realize how late it is. Okay, here we go. Masiv mar b'rei deravina. the Mar, the son of Ravina, asked the following question. We know at night you make two brachas before Shema, Ushtaim Lachare, and two brachas after Shema. The Amrit by Lismoch, and if you tell me you have to be Samach Gula L'Tfila, Aloka Samach Gula L'Tfila, the by L'Mei Ashkivenu. You're not going to be Samach Gula L'Tfila because in the middle you're interrupting with Ashkivenu, meaning, here we go. Here the brachas Krishma. You have two before Shema and two after Shema. Well, this Hashkivenu interrupts. Why? Because this is not a bracha of Gula. Emes V'Muna has the end of it, has the end Gal Yisrael. Okay, very good. But then you say Hashkivenu. So there's no Sama Gula L'Tfila. Right? Let's just see the words inside. This bracha of Hashkivenu, let me start this way. Right after Shema, we have Emes V'Muna, and then we end that with Mika Mochel Im Hashem, Mika Mochel da da da, Kifad Hashem Meshach V'Gol Mimenu, Baruch Hashem Gal Yisrael. So this is the bracha of Gal Yisrael. This is the third bracha. Now, after the third bracha, what do? We have this bracha called Hashkivenu. Wonderful, 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 says the Gemara. What that means is you're interrupting between the Geula and the Tefillah. This bracha over here, Hashkivenu, interrupts. Emes V'Muna ends with Gal Yisrael, and then you throw in Hashkivenu that interrupts between Gula and Tefillah. So obviously, Rabbi Yochanan, you're wrong.
I guess they didn't have Kaddish.
Wait to Kaddish. Wait. We'll get to Tosas. We'll see Kaddish. But this is a bracha that Chazal put in that clearly interrupts between Gal Yisrael, between the Gula and the Tefillah. So obviously it must be that Rabbi Shimon Levi is right and Rabbi Yochanan is wrong. Right? That's the kasha. Everyone read the kasha that way?
Well, so why is Rabbi Shimon Levi right? He doesn't. It doesn't support him because it's not doing Shema after Shemon Esrei.
Well, one thing for sure, I see that you don't have Gula Tefillah. You don't do someone Gula Tefillah. Now we have a question. If you don't have to do someone's Tefillah, it's fine. Why'd you reverse it? I don't know what the answer, but whatever the point is, Rabbi Shimon Levi holds you don't have to be someone Gula Tefillah, and he must be right. Why? Because look at the way we set it up, and we know that in Mariv there are two brachas before, two brachas after. The Hashkivenu bracha is an interruption between the Geula and the Tefillah. So obviously, with all due respect, Rabbi Yochanan, you're wrong. Rabbi Shimon Levi is right. And everything is right. We're good? It's so quiet. I don't know. Okay, good. All right. That's the Gemara's kasha, right? That's Masiv Mar Berei de Ravina. Mar, the son of Ravina, asked this kasha on Rabbi Yochanan, proving Rabbi Shimon Levi is correct. Good. Says the Gemara, Vaita Amri, the answer no. Kivin the Siknu Rabbanan Hashkivenu, since Chazal made up this bracha, they were masakin this bracha Hashkivenu, Kigula Arichta Damya. It's like one long gula. Gal Yisrael, Hashkivenu Shema Yisrael, it's all one gula Arichta.
What does that mean?
What does it mean?
Because Chazal were mitaking it, it's therefore a Geula Arichta? What does that mean?
Thank you. Thank you. I thank you.
What are you thanking me for?
You're asking a good kasha. I have the same kasha. I don't have a clue. I think it's a bomb kasha.
Thank you.
Chazal,
do we understand how the words can be Gula Richta?
Yeah, long gula. Well, let's read the Gemara's.
No, do we understand how the words of Ashkivenu can be a Gula Richta?
That
Are
is
they the theme?
That's part of my question.
That's what he's asking. Yeah, that's you right. But let's see the Gemara. Let's finish the Gemara for a minute. Just we'll see a little bit more clearly what Dov is asking over here. Okay, Gula Arichta Damya Dilo Teimahachi. If you don't say this idea that once Chazal set up Hashkivenu, it's a Gula Arichta Shachar Seichim Matzi Samech. Everyone agrees. Rabbi Shimon Levi. Everyone agrees by Shachar you have to be Samech Gula Tefillah. And if so, how can you be Samech? V'amar Rabbi Yochanan. Didn't Rabbi Yochanan tell us? Betchila Omer, before you start Shemona Esrei, you say Hashem Sfasei Tiftach. This expression Hashem Sfasei Tiftach is not Shemona Esrei. It's Hashem help me daven Shemona Esrei, but it's not Tefillah. What do you have to say? Elahosam by Shachris Kim the Tikna Rabban Lameim Hashem Sfasei Tiftach. Since Chazal Masakein that you start Shemona Esrei Hashem Sasei Tiftach Kitfila Richta Damya. So therefore, it must be. It's not an interruption because it's Tfila Richta. Hachanami. So too by Mariv came in the Sikna Rabban Lamema Ashkivenu. Since Chazal said, say the words Ashkivenu Kagula Richta Damya. It's like a Gula Richta. Now I'll be honest with you. I agree with this question very much. I don't know that it's a lumdish akasha, and I don't know if we're going to really answer it. But what Dov is asking is that this makes no sense, because what do you mean it's gegula arichtidam? Look at the words hashkivenu, right? Hashkivenu Hashem Elokeinu l'shalom. Hashem, let us lie down to peace. Amidenu makenu l'chaim. Ufralzenu sugat shemecha. Put your sukkah shoma, v'tekni b'etz tova, give us b'etz tova, v'shenu, save us from the sutton, right? Baruch at Hashem Shemar Yisrael, Hashem, you guard us forever. This is a wonderful bracha, beautiful bracha. It's got nothing to do with gula. Well, since Chazal put it in, it must be a gula arichta, huh?
I thought Chazal put it in because it supplants a hamapil. You don't have to say a mapil if you say this.
Okay, maybe, but how does it make it a gula richta? And it has nothing to do with geula. There's nothing in this bracha that has to do with Hashem. You took us out of
It's there to enhance your ability to do tefillah.
Right, you could argue Hashem, Chazal made it part of the tefillah. Not only do you start Shemana with a request, another request, meaning it is a tefillah. Hashem Sfasei Tivtach is a tefillah. You call it a tefillah richta, even though it's not actually part of Shemona Esrei. But since Chazal instituted it, it becomes like a longer tefillah, an introduction to the tefillah. But this bracha has got nothing to do with geula. This bracha has
the sukkah shlomecha be comparable to the sukkah that Hashem put us in when He took us out of Mitzrayim?
I don't know. Maybe that's not we don't say that on weekdays. That's for sure. But it also
we say Rosh Shlomecha on both weekdays and Shabbos. We just don't say the second Rosh Shlomecha. We say Rosh Shlomecha on weekdays and Shabbos in the beginning.
Well, first, you should place your sukkah shalom on us, and you should be talking us with Eitz Tova in front of you, and Hosheinu Man Shemecha, protect us. The
protection of Hashem is talking about the Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. He put us under His protection.
Where do you see that? Mitzrayim is somewhere in there in Sod?
No, I'm saying when Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, He placed us under His protection. So it's continuation of the concept of Hashem placing us under His protection.
I'll be gematria, I'll be Sod, I'll be
words. The words.
Maybe. I read these words many a time. I never read Hashem, you took us out of Mitzrayim. Hashem, you redeemed us. Hashem, thank you for taking us. Right? I never read that in here. I read Hashem, please let us lie down for peace and let us get up in peace and protect us. Put your sukkah shalom on us and set us up with good eitzah and save us. L'man shemecha. Protect us. Protect us.
I've forgotten about Gal Yisrael at this point.
It's got nothing to do with Gal Yisrael. It's about as much of an interruption I can imagine. Let's say you started to talk about the Mets scores over here, or instead you started asking Hashem, I don't know, for Bikurim. You started saying the Parsha Bikurim.
Mets scores would be Zeicher L'Churban, Rabbi.
And you could have put Hashkivenu before the Ne'emar, right after. You could have put it there, and then you would have been able to have gula samach utfila.
Right, that's even better, right? But it's another bracha. I don't know how you do it, because you don't want to interrupt between the Aniyah Shem Lekechem, which is the Yeshiva, remembering Yeshiva Mitzrayim, and the Gal Yisrael, because
right.
Yisrael has to go on the Hashem.
I hear.
Yeah. Maybe this isn't the Al Yisrael. This is a different type of, but it's the same idea that Hashem protects us, Hashem saves us. And the Hashkivenu is just an intro, like it's like a prayer added to the bracha of Kikel Malachan V'Rachmata. You guard us. So it's the same.
Let's say I want to ask you a very yeshivish question. Let's say I didn't say the word I didn't say those words, and I said these words Hashkivenu. Was I Makayim the mitzvah's essay of Zecher Yetzias Mitzrayim?
Absolutely not.
Okay, why not?
You didn't say Mitzrayim.
Nothing to do with it. It's nothing whatsoever to do with it.
But the idea of Gal Yisrael and why that would bring Hashem closer, because we're praising Him for saving us, is included in here. Maybe not Mitzrayim, but this can still get stuffed into the same
Okay.
Hashem saving us, talking praise of that.
Good answer. Good answer. Then it's not dependent on Chazal having set it up. If you were right, it's not because Chazal, when Masakin it, that makes it Gula Richta. It's because it is a Gula. You have a broader definition of Gula. I used to define Gula as taking us out of Mitzrayim, and now Gula is much broader definition. Gula, you always save us. You save us then, you save us in the future, you always save us. Wonderful. It's not because Chazal set it up as a bracha here that's the reason for it.
No, they are the Chazal that told us that there has to be Gula.
Sorry, and surely you don't need any raya from Ni Hashem Elokechem, because there it is a tefillah. I think the question is better than the answer. Let's proceed. We got to finish over here.
They're the Chazal that set aside the concept that we should have Gula L'Tefillah. They're the Chazal that said you should have two brachas. They're the same Chazal, so obviously they consider this to be Smichas Gula L'Tefillah, and it's not a problem because this is the same Chazal. They're the Chazal that said Gula L'Tefillah. They're the Chazal that said two brachas.
Why?
What?
Why?
I don't care why they're Chazal. The Chazal can do whatever they want.
Why? But they didn't. You're saying those words, but it's not true. I'll prove to you that Rabbi Shimon Levi's right, because this has nothing to do with Gal Yisrael, and Chazal and put it in there for a different reason altogether. And Rabbi Shimon Levi's right, and Rabbi Yochanan is wrong.
But we've already shown that you can have extra words in the before Shemona Esrei, and it's still considered part of Shemona Esrei. So you can have extra words at the end of
before Shemona Esrei of Tefillah. And even though it's not the words of the Amidah that Chazal set up, but because Chazal said it's part of the prayer service, and it is prayer, Hashem Sasei Titzach is prayer, so you can call it a tefillah.
One second, we're adding that's adding a logic to that. That's making a logical distinction between Hashkivenu and Hashem Sasei Tiftach. If we don't make a logical distinction, we just take it on face value that the Chazal is the one who made this addition to both, then it's the same thing. Just like they made the addition of Hashem Sasei Tiftach, they made the addition of Hashkivenu. It's Chazal. I can come up with a svar to mechalak them. I can make a svar to mechalak them between the two of them. Why Hashem Sasei Tiftach is it makes more sense consider part of tefillah than Hashkemenu's Gal Yisrael. But the reality is, ultimately, it's Chazal is the one who added both of those on. Yeah. And since they add both of those on, they can tell us that this is extended Gal Yisrael, and that's extended Shemona Esrei.
With all due respect, since Chazal Sakein Hashkivenu could Gula Richta Dami, it's a Gula Richta. And how do I know it? Because if you don't say that, and by Shachris, you'll have an interruption between the Shemona Esrei because Hashem Sasei Tiftach.
Because the Gemara doesn't hold of this distinction of Hashem Sasei Tiftach being more tefillah like than Hashkivenu being Gula like.
Oh, that's the answer. The Gemara wasn't paying attention. The Gemara wasn't thinking.
No, the Gemara was not making that distinction. The Gemara is basically saying the fact that we see you can add on Shemona Esrei teaches us that the Chazal can extend things according to their will.
Maybe you could say any words you want to say. I would not buy it for any amount of money. I think it's dumb. I'm saying, meaning if the Gemara was saying, I would say, Rabbi Gemara, give me a different tractate. Give me a different rabbi. It's not. Again, the way the Gemara says, if you tell me Tefillah Richta, it makes sense. It's a logic. It's Tefillah Richta. Hashem Sasai is a long, even though the actual Amidah began with Baruch Hashem. But since Chazal added this introduction to Tefillah, and it is a Tefillah, different than Shemona, but it's Tefillah, you call it Tefillah Richta. I understand now it's a long Tefillah. But you can't tell me that Parshas Bikurim that Chazal put in, it's a Gula Richta. They added the Met scores, it's a Gula Richta. It's not logical. It's not a Gula Richta. It's not correct. It's wrong. All right, let's think about it. Why did they put in the Brach of Hashkivenu? Why did they put the Brach of Hashkivenu? Yeah. Right. That's the question.
An article footnote on this.
Oh,
I didn't see it inside, but it says to look in Rabbeinu Yonah. And he makes a connection that when Yetzias Mitzrayim was happening, the Jews were davening that the destruction shouldn't enter their homes, and this is like a replay of that tefillah.
So like that's a very nice answer. We have to see Rabbeinu Yonah inside because it doesn't fit with Gemara. It says it came in the Tiknun Rabbanan Hashkivenu. Since Chazal set up Hashkivenu, it's Gula Richta. Forget the Rabbanan set it up. It is. If you read, we'll have to see the footnotes. I didn't see the footnotes. I didn't see the article.
Well, if they hadn't put it in there, it wouldn't be part of it.
It's replaying it. But let's see.
They put it in because it's connected, and once they put it in, as you want to know why they put in an extra bracha, it's all one bracha.
I do not accept quotes of footnotes.
Okay, so we have to see it inside.
Show me at least a footnote inside, but I prefer to see Rabbeinu Yonah. All right, let's recap very quickly. I believe we have a few problems. but basically here's what we have. We have the following. We have a Gemara that tells us that there's machlokas Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Shua, whether they have to be somach gula tefillah, right? Rabbi Yochanan says, Ezu ben halba zeh somach gula tefillah sha'arvis. You have to be somach gula tefillah of arvis. Rabbi Shimon Levi says, no, you don't have to. And then Rabbi Shimon Levi seems to add something that's irrelevant. He tells us that they made the Shmaz as bookends and the Shemona Esrei is in the middle, and therefore he says it's Shemona Esrei and Shema. Now, why Rabbi Shua ben Levi added this fact, I don't know. I mean, he should have just said, I argue you don't need some Gula Tefillah, and he shouldn't have added the fact that the Shemona Esrei comes first because Shema is Dorai. So that's one question we have. I don't know how much of but it's a question. I would love to know an answer to it. All right, and then we saw Rashi that we couldn't read worth a dime. Rashi is explaining Rabbi Yochanan and explains Koshke and Shachris. Why Rashi brings in now, I don't know. And then Rashi brings in David HaMelech, which I don't know what in the world he's bringing in from there. But finally, we do understand something in Rashi when he explains to us the Gemara in Yerushalmi that explains to us the logic of Somach Gula Tefillah, that when you Somach Gula, when you praise the king comes out. And so don't leave them because then the king will leave. Rather, as soon as the king comes out, make your request. That's why Somach Gula Tefillah. Now, we had a machlokes between Rabbi Shimon Levi, which the Gemara explained, but my commifically what they're arguing in Svara. This I didn't understand. I believe is a reasonable question. Rabbi Yochanan holds the Gula Ma'urta, Nami Havi. I mean, again, everyone agrees Paro came out at night. Everybody, meaning they were given permission to leave at night. Everybody agrees they didn't leave till the morning. Rabbi Yochanan says there was a Gula at night, and therefore you call Yisrael, you some Gula Tefillah. Rabbi Shimon Levi says, no, there wasn't a Gula at night. What are they arguing? So you guys hear it, I don't hear it. I think it's a good question. And then finally we have Dov's question, which is when the Gemara asks that, remember, Mar Berei Deravina asks that how could Rabbi Yochanan be right? There's a interruption because there are two brachas before, two brachas after, and the bracha after is Hashkivenu. That so must be Rabbi Shimon Levi is correct, and Rabbi Yochanan is wrong because he can't be some Gula Tefillah with this interruption. And now the Gemara's answer is something about it being a Tefillah Arichta. It's a Gula Arichta because Chazal put it in. Dov said that makes no sense because it's not a Gula at all. How do you make a Gula Arichta? And we'll tumult about that. So 3 issues I'd love to know more clarity on, and then we'll proceed. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Okay, Mitzvah Hashem, Tuesday we'll hopefully get a little bit. We'll start the Tosas Mitzvah Hashem, and maybe we'll get some understanding of what's actually going on here. Please God. Well, probably not so early, but at least we'll get some. We'll get some more mud. We'll get some more lack of clarity. So eventually we'll get the clarity. All right, good. Okay, gentlemen, good night. Much atzlacha. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, good night.
Thank you, Rabbi. Good night.
My pleasure. Good night.